I'm on a quest to collect the top 100 N64 games of all time without spending any money out of pocket. I can use up to 10% of the profits I make flipping items on eBay to buy N64 games. A few weeks back, I picked up a few rare N64 games, including this one, but I didn't quite have the funds to officially add them to my collection. Now I'm starting this week at $79 in the game fund. Hopefully we can have a great week of sales so I can add this unique N64 game to my collection. Let's get to work. So last week I started a 50% off sale for anything that has been on eBay for like 6 months or more. It's stuff we bought kind of early on in our reselling life, and maybe some things that we should have passed on. We're just trying to get them moved. So we're selling some things for like either like break even or maybe $1 or $2 profit. So first up is this WWE action figure. We sold this for $6.50 plus shipping. Next, we sold another one of those Labor Day pins, which is kind of interesting. We just sold one the other day. Again, still going to make like $1 on it after shipping because it's $3 plus $6 shipping. And then we sold this random manga that came in a package of a couple other books. We sold one for good money. I think there was like 2 or 3 of the early Full Metal Alchemist mangas in there. So maybe sold those for like 10, 15 bucks. And then this one was just kind of in there. It's been listed for a really long time. But we sold that for $4 plus shipping. So again, have literally no money into it, so a couple bucks there. And then some, what I would call real sales. The first item, we sold this Nintendo GameCube Wavebird, this wireless controller with the receiver. So these are actually kind of rare. It works, it's just not super pretty. So we sold that one for $65 plus shipping. And then the final item today, over the past couple days, I've gotten a couple of these handhelds from that huge lot I bought the other day. Got those cleaned up and listed. Thankfully, was able to get a couple of the ones that weren't working actually to work, which is awesome. And then another one was completely just destroyed. Like the board was completely covered in battery acid. It was like ripped to shreds. But I did get some parts that were able to get some other ones working, which is awesome. And we sold the first handheld from that lot. We got $60 plus shipping for that. So if you watch my video from about a week or so ago, I picked up this huge lot of video game stuff. I spent 1,300 bucks on like maybe 20, 25 consoles, big old stack of games, boxes of cables and controllers. I showed you a bunch of stuff I decided to keep. So it was like a little pile of some Switch stuff, like a Game Boy, things like that. There was a couple other things that I thought I was going to sell. And then once I got my hands on them, I realized, you know what? I actually don't think I want to sell this. So I'm going to see if this Sega Saturn that I bought actually works. So I had the power cable and I tested to make sure it at least powered on before I bought an AV cable. So I know it powers on, but I have yet to actually turn it on with the AV cable plugged in. So that just showed up in the mail today. I just got it hooked up. And if it works, I'm going to order a flash cart for the Sega Saturn so I can play some games on here. Unfortunately, the Sega Saturn games are crazy expensive. Like one of the most popular games, Panzer Dragoon, is like $500 or $600, I think. If this turns on and we have audio and video, I'm going to be ordering a flash cart. Within the next few weeks, we're going to be playing, hopefully, we're going to be playing some Sega Saturn games. Here we go. Let's see if this works. That looks like it's working to me. So I think I'm going to end up ordering this flash cart. And hopefully, within the next week or two, we're going to be playing some Sega Saturn games. Good afternoon. Today is Monday. We've got 9 things to pack up today. So first up, some of these sale items, we've got this DVD set. It's this anime called Burst Angel. We sold this DVD set for $6.50 plus shipping. We sold this copy of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull for $4 plus shipping. So those were the 2 things we sold that have been listed for a while and were part of this like 50% off sale. We sold Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box for $8 plus shipping. We sold Mario Tennis Open for $10 plus shipping. And we sold Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword for $20 plus shipping. So I sold 2 handhelds. I sold the Nintendo Game Boy Advance Glacier for $65 plus shipping. And I sold a Game Boy Pocket in black for $25 plus shipping. So unfortunately, the Game Boy Pocket So it works great. The screen turns on, runs games, no problem, but there's no sound. I don't do soldering, so I don't have like replacement speakers and that sort of thing. So if it's any kind of difficult repair, if it's not something simple that usually just like requires cleaning or like swapping out a part or something, like replacing a battery, I just sell it as parts. It's just not really worth the time, in my opinion. So like working, they sell for 40 bucks. For parts, I sold it for 25. So it's really not worth the time for me to go and fix it. So second to last item. So this one's kind of interesting. We bought at a thrift store the other day. We paid like, I think it was like $4 or $5 for this bag of toys. And the reason we bought it was that it contained something called a Nano Baby, which is like a Tamagotchi competitor from the 90s. They go for really good money, like 60 to 80 bucks. So that was why we bought that bag of toys, but there was some other random stuff in it. And we started looking things up, and there was this little pop figure sitting in there. We'll look him up. Usually they're not worth much, $5 or less. He was kind of rare. So it's this Philly Fanatic. And apparently there's a bunch of versions of him. So this one has a slightly different jersey, and we sold him for $34 plus shipping in like 3 days after we listed it, which was amazing. And final item today, we sold this Crazy Taxi. It's like official Sega branded and everything, remote control car. So credit to my mother-in-law. She actually goes to garage sales every once in a while, and she was the one that found it. We sold it for $85 plus shipping. Very, very cool item. This was definitely one we debated keeping just because it's so cool. I don't have a strong attachment to Crazy Taxi personally, so that's why we ultimately decided to sell it, but it is a very, very cool item. So that is the 9 things we sold today. Let's get these out of here. And now we're off to the thrift store. I made my usual stop at the electronics counter the second I walked in. They had a few consoles on the shelf. This Wii for $25 is actually 25% off, so it's only about $19. And this other one, I'm surprised to see it still sitting here. 75% off of $40, so it's only 10 bucks. I trade these into the local game store for about $30 to $35 trade credit each, so these are easy pickups. I did a quick scan through the toys, and quite a few things caught my eye today. First was this G.I. Joe Battle Wagon. It looks vintage, and yeah, it's from 1991. Unfortunately, it's missing a few pieces, and the sell-through looks pretty slow on it. Have to pass. The next item was this Batmobile from 1995's Batman Forever. Unfortunately, again, missing pieces, and really not that desirable of an item, unfortunately. Gotta pass again. And another interesting looking toy was this Star Wars Rogue One U-Wing from 2016. Now it does hold some value, around 20 to 30 bucks, but the sell-through is just okay. Now if it was in perfect condition, I probably would have bought it. But this one has a bent wing. I tried to see if I could bend it back, but no luck. So I gotta leave this behind too. And finally, in the board games, this was ringing a bell for some reason. I haven't heard this name in a while, but Ugly Martians? This is the type of board game that could hold some value, but no, another big old goose egg. Some cool stuff here today, but nothing worth buying to try and flip. But we're on to the electronics. And they have this section with cords and random accessories I like to flip through. And today I found this bag with 2 Wii nunchucks inside. That's only $1.50 since it's half off. They look like they need to be cleaned, but in good shape otherwise. Definitely grabbing these. And of course, we gotta look at some VCRs. This Zenith one is a pass, but this Sony branded one is in great shape. It does turn on, so it's probably in working condition. And it sells fast for around $100 without the remote. I also like to flip through this one shelf of sealed stuff they have, and I came across this new in box Bop It. Used, they're nothing special, but brand new in the box, they're going for $40 on eBay all day. And this board game in this section caught my eye as well. My wife loves these escape room games, and this one looks like a lot of fun. For only $5, we'll have a nice time with this. All right, good afternoon. Today is Wednesday. I've got 2 quick things to pack up today. Continuing to list some of the high dollar value items from that huge video game haul the other week. So we listed a bunch of Game Boy Advance SPs. These actually weren't part of that haul. This was stuff from back in January. Again, just trying to find time to get these things sort of fixed up. A couple of them had like swelled batteries, and I had to buy replacement batteries. So finally did that, got those fixed up. So I listed 4 SPs the other day, and they'll probably be gone by the end of the week. Wouldn't surprise me. We sold the first one. So it's a Cobalt Blue SP. It's the 001, so it's the front lit model. Sold for $80 plus shipping. Again, super fast. And then we picked up this board game the other day from the thrift store for about $3 or $4. It is this vintage 1989 MTV remote control game. I don't know anything about it, but it's complete. It looked kind of cool, so it caught our eye, and we sold that for $30 with free shipping. Let's go ahead and get these two things out of here right now. I would say I sell about 2 to 3 things per day. Some days we have nothing. Some days we have a little bit more. Amazing day for being the middle of the week. I pack every afternoon. So Wednesday afternoon into Thursday morning, selling 8 items, especially a lot of things that high dollar value items. To sell 8 things in a day is unusual for me, and I'm very, very excited about it because we're going to be putting a lot of money into the game fund today. So first is another Disney trading pin. Got a big bundle of these from like an estate sale, I think. We maybe have like a quarter into each one. We sold this Epcot pin for $4.50 plus shipping. And the next item that was, kind of a freebie sort of giveaway, I picked up last summer from an estate sale, this huge bundle of Game Informer magazines. And I paid like $50, $60 for all the magazines, and I sold tons and tons of them. I really don't have many left. A lot of the older magazines sold really fast, but a lot of the newer ones are just kind of sitting there. This one I sold, I guess I didn't really think it through before I put it in a 50% off sale. But I think after shipping, I'm going to make like $3 or $4. So like 50 cents a magazine. So from that huge lot I picked up the other day, there was a couple of original DSs in there. They don't go for much, maybe like 40-ish working. They all had problems with them, unfortunately, and they're things I don't really think are worth fixing for me personally. So one of them had a bunch of dead pixels, one of them has a cracked shell, and then another one has a broken hinge. So, again, not really, I'm not going to reshell an original DS just to list. It's not really worth the work for me. And I don't have that much into these, so happy to sell them for parts and still make a little bit of profit. So I sold this original DS in blue. We got $19 plus shipping. So the next 3 items, again, all from that huge video game lot. I'm just trying to get as much money back from that as I can as quickly as possible, try and get into the green on that. I listed a bunch of those DS games that I picked up. We sold 3 of them today. So we've got Mario Party DS. These are all complete, sold for $18 plus shipping. We've got Super Mario 64 DS for $24 plus shipping. And the last one was Star Fox 64 for the 3DS. We sold for $39 plus free shipping. So next on the list is this NES console. We sold it for $85 plus shipping. Comes with a console, a controller, a power cable, and an AV cable. And finally, the last item today, another really quick sale from that huge video game lot. Man, at this point, I don't know, we might be like halfway back to our 1,300. I'll have to run the math. I'm not too worried about whether I'm going to make a profit. It's just a matter of when, not if. But I'd be curious to see how far into that 1,300 we are. I would guess we're, maybe around the $500 to $600 mark, somewhere in that range. Big part because of this sale that I'm about to show you right now. So probably, I think besides the Virtual Boy that I kept, I think this was the highest dollar value item in the entire lot. I probably have about $100 to $150 into this. So for $275, I sold a new Nintendo 3DS XL plus a copy of Pokemon X. So I just decided to bundle them together. Figured they would both sell really fast. And I think, again, that's going to put us around like $600 back on our initial $1,300 investment overall. And this thing was in amazing condition, but very, very successful selling day on eBay. I showed you all the 8 items. Let's go ahead and get these packed up right now. And now, very exciting, we're off to the first garage sale of the season. Wish me luck. This box filled with handbags caught my eye, and she said she only wanted $3 each. Now, probably too good to be true because there were 2 Coach bags in here. You've got to be really cautious with this brand because there are tons of fakes out there. Now, I'm not an expert by any means, but the materials just felt off, and the printing on this tag looks like almost worn out, like it was a copy, if you know what I mean. Now, if these were real, that would have obviously been a fantastic deal, but I'm pretty confident these are fakes, so I have to leave them behind. I also did a passing glance through some of the glassware. This is a category I know little to nothing about, but I did run through some of the clothes she had laid out, and I noticed this wool sweater. The tag says made in Ireland. Again, it's wool, so it's got some of what we're looking for. I looked up the brand on eBay, and they're selling for around $50 to $100. She only wanted $5, so this was a great pickup. So today is Friday. We just got back from the very first garage sale of the season. How exciting. And we actually found an item, which is awesome. Today is the last day to add a couple bucks to the game fund. If you don't remember, a couple weeks ago, I actually bought a few rare N64 games. I didn't quite have the funds to actually add to the collection. So depending on how we finish this week, I think that's going to determine which one of those games I add to the collection, if any. I would love to add that red cartridge that's back there that you don't know what it is yet. I would love to add that to the collection today because that's actually one I've really wanted to play. But I'm sticking to the rules of the collection challenge. So I haven't actually popped it in and played it yet, but I'm excited to do so. Hopefully, if we made enough money this week, we'll get to do that. Up first, I sold a 4-way AV switcher. Whenever I buy them, they sell, which is great. So I think I maybe paid like $2 or $3 for this. So I sold this Radio Shack 4-input switcher. Again, I maybe paid $2 or $3 for it for $10 plus shipping, so not bad. And the other item we sold today, I picked these up for $3. I got actually 3 or 4 pairs of them from that women's club sale a few weeks ago. Paid $60 for a ton of stuff and don't normally buy clothes, but did really, really well there. So very happy that I'm finding some success with clothing items. But anyway, I picked up a few pairs of these Crocs. They're like ballet flats. So they're like, they don't look like regular Crocs. They're made to look like, a nice pair of flats you would wear, but it's that same like Crocs material. And we sold them for $18 plus shipping, and they sold pretty fast, which is great. And that is it for today. Let's get this stuff packed up. And with that, we generated $435 in profit this week, putting $43 into the game fund. This gives us $122 to spend on N64 games, and this week I'll be adding Rocket Robot on Wheels to the collection, putting me at 61 out of my top 100 N64 games. I actually picked this up a few weeks ago, but didn't quite have the funds available at the time. Now, when I see rare games I need for the collection, I have to pick them up on the spot because I might not run into them again. Now, fun fact about this game, it was actually developed by Sucker Punch and was their first ever release back in 1999. You might recognize that studio from their later work like the Sly Cooper and Infamous series, and most recently Ghost of Tsushima. Adding this little gem to my collection set me back $75, leaving me with $47 going into next week. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next one.